Akademiks can't ride no way.
Oh, like he's starting to get mad, this and third, and that's when he explains the situation. So let me give you again. I'm gonna run through me being the middleman. If you look on the texts, I know y'all know I'm not lying or nothing like that, but if you look on the text, this convo comes from a three-way text that you will see. It says Akademiks and one more. It's Akademiks and Adin, and I basically was trying for so long to try to get this fixed. So here's the problem. Blueface does the fight. And after Blueface does the fight, he's ruled as the loser. Okay? He's ruled the loser. Now, I want to let you know, Wack is there commentating, and he is sitting. Oh, I'm trying to get the outside. Why can't I see the judges? Come on. Okay. Here. Right here. So, if you don't know, you got Wack100 right there. You have Neon. You have Charleston White. Charleston White's here. I think this is Charleston. Is it Charleston? I'm not tripping. This is Rampage Jackson, and they're commentating the fight. Obviously, if I had went, I would have been one of the commentators, but I didn't go. Now, what ends up happening is the fight is over, and this is it right here.
The blue corner, Chibo!
Now, Chibu wins the fight. Okay? They basically do the interviews afterwards. And Adin, because he's kind of like Joe Rogan / Dana White when it comes for that. He hops in the ring and he interviews Blueface, and this is what happened.
Your props. Again, this fight was kind of put together last minute. It was so hard to get you an opponent. Can we get you back in here, bro? Can we see you back in Brand Risk?
Hey, damn well you ain't gonna lose your own money on your own fight card. I definitely wouldn't score that in a unanimous decision. I give it 4-2. But hey, shout out to Brand Risk.
Shout out to Brand Risk. And Blue, if you do get back on Brand Risk, do you want a rematch or who do you want to fight?
I probably won't get back on Brand Risk because you tampering with the bets.
Never that. Never that. I don't know what he's talking about. Chibu!
Okay, so that happened then. Blueface spoke afterwards. And he spoke about, he gave some more commentary about the fight. One of them is here. Listen to this.
Out of the ring, it was like,
here we go.
Hold
on, come on, bro.
He's being honest. Chibu did.
All right, Jesus, I can't get the fucking. I want to play everything. Oh, here we go.
We're still gonna turn up.
Here we go. So this is after he gets out the ring. He goes to the locker room area. Here we go.
Where's my backpack? But I'll tell you what, chat. We're gonna watch the fight back, and we're gonna see who landed more punches. Cause that's how it's supposed to go, right?
You know somebody? Yeah, you lost the last round.
Yeah.
But just because you lost the last round doesn't mean you lost the fight.
Especially not unanimously.
You see what I'm saying?
I definitely run. The first.
That shit was the other way around.
Shout out to everybody watching, huh? All the subs. We're still gonna turn up. We still gonna celebrate this payday. We still getting paid. Losses come with this shit.
Oh, no, watch me see the other. I give it to them. We was up 4-2. We were up 4 rounds. We was up 4-2. But watch when you see the fight be super hot fire, beat dude the fuck up.
This should be against Brand Risk to bet on your own fighter.
You're gonna close this company. That's a fact.
Okay. So you hear Blue say it should be, you know, let's go back in.
What kind of judges?
This should be against brand risk to bet on your own fighter.
You're gonna close this company. That's a fact.
What the fuck?
Well, you know, the judges is Florida judges. They ain't brand risk judges. But to fight before it, if you look at the chat over there, Blueface got robbed. Blueface got robbed. But you did one hell of a job. He did a great job, one hell of a job.
Okay.
They took his best shot.
Hell yeah.
Nigga, you took his best shot now.
Go watch it back and see who landed more punches.
We're gonna go back to the hotel.
Okay.
Making better.
Okay, let me do it. Betting scheme should tell y'all nothing. Nah. They didn't make any outrageous bets. Should tell you enough. Aiden's betting scheme should tell y'all nothing. Nah, hell no.
What you mean?
You want more, right?
Okay.
And 4.
6 and 4.
I'll tell you, he probably won those. I took those rounds a little.
Yeah.
Sport you can bet on your own fighter.
Yeah.
Okay, he mentions again.
I don't think in any professional sport you can bet on your own fighter.
That's what he did. And he's saying it.
Come on, man. The way he was betting, nigga, can only be one thing.
Nah, for real. So you really had to go in there and knock him out for real.
I was gonna be the only way.
Fuck, this shit so wet back here for.
Nah, I ain't blaming Adin, chat. I'm just saying the way he was prior to the fight. He was more confident than his own fighter.
It's probably looking like Joe.
Oh yeah, we can.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. He starts watching some videos. He speaks on it pretty much the next day. He said this.
If you guys are expecting me to be upset, angry, or cry, you're crazy. I done got my kicked way worse with no gloves on. I remember in middle school, I was pretty bad.
Okay, this is not it. But essentially, he spoke afterwards about the fight, and you know, his commentary about the fight was basically like, you know what, something's fishy with it. I'm trying to get like the exact clips, and I'm not putting words in his mouth because essentially it came down to a word. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this, I'm not being too anal. Pause. Is because this is all about semantics. That's kind of what happened. Here we go.
Aiden is overly selling his decision-making skills, which is ultimately, obviously, he's receiving the flack. That's why he cares to over-explain himself. I'm all of a sudden banned from brand risk, even though I said I would never fight on brand risk.
No, he was reacting to a fake clip too. Okay, all right. Anyway, if I can't find the actual clip of him, like, you know, saying something more, I'll just kind of give you the update of what happened. So, all right. So, Adin calls me. The fight happens. You hear Blue's comments. There's a couple more comments. I can't find it all. He says, yo, you know, it's like, I just want you to be in the conversation with Wack because, you know, Wack, who's doing business for Blueface, is getting a little bit belligerent. And I said, of course, you know, I'm always a good guy for Adin. Adin's my guy, right? You know, and also I don't like Adin getting bullied, right? You know, it's a white dude. He's not racist. I think he does a lot of stuff for black creators, black people. I stand by Adin, right? But he wants me to be part of this conversation. So I get a part of the conversation. And as soon as I do, I called Wack afterwards. Here was Adin's point, and here was Wack's point. And I'll tell you where I come in. Adin's point was this. Everybody got paid on brand risk except Blueface. And I said, well, why didn't he get paid? He did the best job at the fight. I think he brought the biggest crowd. I think it's a reason why those numbers were crazy. Blueface is a draw, and I think he deserves to get paid. So Adin tells me this, and I'm going to be very honest. I really have no horse in the race because I'm really friends with both of these guys. Adin says, listen, you know how this goes. So the fighters get paid from our sponsor. Our sponsor is RainBet. RainBet is a online gambling casino that people could choose. You could bet on sports. You could clearly bet on the fight. You could bet on whatever you want to. And as part of the contract that they signed, so this is very clear. Even though brand risk is owned by Adin, the sponsor is financing the fights. Okay? This is not brand risk or Adin putting up the money. He basically, I would think, gets like a budget. Don't know exactly how it works, but probably gets a budget to produce the show and probably get a budget to pay fighters. After the performance, and remember, they have brand risk logo. I mean, RainBet logos all over the place. You could tell by, look even at this thumbnail right here. RainBet tells Adin, hey, listen, we're cool with paying all of the other fighters, but Blueface we're having an issue with. And Adin says, why? They say to Adin, well, Blueface came out and basically accused the event of being rigged. Our whole business, motto and our whole business, engine is about people understanding that if you come to our casino, the odds are the odds. No one's fucking with nothing. And for them, that is a integral and centerpiece portion of their main business. So they withheld his pay until they could at least have Adin talk to Blueface and his people to figure out what's the medium. So I'm telling Adin, I said, well, Adin, he kind of got to get paid. The guy did his job. And he's like, well, if he'd never said what he said in the ring, he would have gotten paid. So I said, all right, cool. Let me go talk to Wack. And after I talk to Wack, I'll come back to talk to you. So I hit Wack up. And when I hit Wack up, I say, Wack, what's going on? So this is before. Yeah, so Wack now knows I'm involved in the situation. I said, Wack, what's going on, bro? He said, what's going on? What do you mean? I said, Adin hit me up. What's the situation with y'all? He's like, well, we did the fight, signed the contract, and he doesn't want to pay. I said, well, he said he was trying to explain to you why the money is being held up. And he said that you were getting a little bit ignorant with him. That's why I'm entering the situation. So let me try to explain. His sponsor is a gambling company. The gambling company who had a contract with the fighter, Blueface, feels that the terms of the contract is breached because the fighter who fought essentially is insinuating that potential bets on the fight, which the sponsor is paying out of, may have been manipulated. Respectfully, I could honestly understand, for example, if let me just put it in different terms. If Kraft Foods sponsored an event or a boxing match, and after the fight, you're like, man, I only won this fucking boxing match because I don't fuck with Kraft Food. I fuck with a competitor. You could see that might get you into some legal problems. In any contract you sign, right? Any contract, there's going to be a non-disparagement clause, which means you cannot speak ill and negative of the people who have given you this contract, especially during the duration of the contract and probably for a period afterwards as well. Okay? It's kind of like a way to have like an NDA. Also, they don't want proprietary stuff coming out and, everything, right? Like when I signed with Spotify, you can't shit talk Spotify. You can't be like, fuck Spotify. Like, no, bro, you just breach your contract. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of a normal thing. And here where we get into this issue. So I explained that to Wack. I said, Wack, you got to understand that, right? I said, listen, okay, if they're holding the money up for that, I said, I don't think, obviously I bet on Blue. I wanted Blue to win. I lost money with Blue. I have no horse. Like, it's no way I'm like, oh, no, I want Adin to. No. I'm a really neutral party here. And I'm not salty that I lost either. You know, you win some, you lose some. So I explained that to Wack, and Wack then says this to me. Wack says, well, Akademiks, check this out. It doesn't matter what Blueface said. I said, what do you mean? He said, it doesn't matter what Blueface said, in the ring or otherwise. Adin and Brand Risk signed a contract with me. And I was like, what does that mean? He said, well, they signed a contract with Wack100 to furnish these things, which is Blueface. So unless I breach the contract, whatever they're saying, which I didn't breach the contract, whatever they're saying does not apply. Now I kind of hear that on technicality. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, I bet. So now I'm playing middleman and telephone. I go back to Adin. I said, well, Adin, Wack is kind of giving me a technicality here. I get your point. And by the way, Adin, every time I talk to Adin, I'm saying to Adin, this is not a race thing, obviously. It's not a race thing, but, I do, no matter what you might think my issues are with Blueface, I'm a black dude and I love hip hop. This shit has changed my life. So I do care about, especially fighters who have came from a hip hop background. Blueface, Ruga. So I said to Adin, Adin, man, you had the biggest event. This guy put on a hell of a show. I get it. He did say some crazy shit, but he's upset. He's emotional, like many fighters get. Like we've seen, fighters in actual professional fights. They've kind of made certain comments like, man, something going on. He's not serious, bro. He should get paid. Okay. Adin's like, yo, Ak, I'm trying to pay him. It's not me. It's the sponsor. The sponsor has a problem with how it looks right now. I'm like, fuck. All right. I said, okay. We need to figure out how we could, how can we get to a middle ground, right? How can we get to a middle ground? Now, instantly, there's, on both sides, they're talking about Wack is saying, well, if you don't pay, we're suing. They're saying, listen, we're going to be filing lawsuits for breaching this and third. I'm like, yo, whoa, calm it down. We all do business here. We're all at the table. Let's figure this out. We does not need to go public. I'm talking to Adin, but I do want Blue to get paid. But he's telling me there is an issue with what Blue's actions have been. And again, it's coming from the people with the money. So we get on the phone. I said, yo, can we just call Wack? Me, him, and Wack, we get on the phone. And it's the most frustrating thing in the world. I might be dragging this out a lot, so let me try to be quick and clear. I'm hearing what Adin's telling me. He's like, I don't care if Blue said fuck Adin. I don't care what Blue says. He can't be out there publicly claiming that the fights are rigged. Not only is that false, it goes against everything that our sponsor stands by because they need to stand on their integrity. I figure out a solution with both of them on the phone. I said, okay, could you talk to Rainbet and just figure out if there was something, even in post, that could be, said or a statement, whatever, again, because I've seen this before. A fighter there's a lot of adrenaline, right? You just lost. You thought you won. You said something like, man, fuck these niggas, man. Yeah, niggas robbed me. You might say that. But after you cool down, a day passes, you might be like, you know what? Hey, listen, thank you guys for the opportunity. Shout out to Chibu. He's a great fighter. I fought a hell of a fight. I'm going to work on some next things, a couple things. I will see you guys back in the ring. Thank you, Brand Risk. Thank you, Rainbet, for the opportunity. I still don't agree with the result. Adin goes to Rainbet. He comes back and he says, Ak, they're cool with trying to remediate this, but Blue has to clarify what he means about playing with the bets or insinuating that things are rigged or that things aren't as fair or as, merit-based as they really are. And I said, okay, let's Adin, I'm going to talk to Wack. Just how can what would this look like? He's like, all right, if he gets back on stream and just be like, listen, I lost the fight. I don't agree with it. So I said, wait, he could say he doesn't agree because I don't think he agrees with that he lost the fight. He can say he doesn't agree with it, but he can't just say that we fixed the fight. That's just not what it is. I said, all right, bet. I think we could figure this out. If all he got to do is get on stream and say, listen, I don't agree with the results, blah, blah. But, Rainbet's not fixing fights. They're not rigging fights. They're not whatever, I go to Wack. I talk to Wack. And at this point, the conversation is getting a little bit like, ugh. Remember at first, Wack was like, well, he signed the contract with me. Then he was like, what did, Wack is getting really technical. Well, what did Blue say? And I'm like, bro, you understand the sponsorship angle, right? The sponsor got all the money. They're releasing the bag to Adin to pay people, but they're a gambling company. Could Blue just at least clear it up? Because Wack kept saying he never said that Rainbet rigged anything. And I said, all right, cool. So if that's not his actual opinion, just have him go on stream. Adin told me he will pay you or pay Blue as long as he gets on stream and says, hey, listen, I don't agree that I don't think I lost, but Rainbet never rigged this situation, never rigged these fights, or didn't rig my fight. That's all he had to say. And I present Wack with that option. And I said, listen, I'm talking to Adin. I just talked to him. Wack says, now we could do something like that, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think this white boy playing with me. I'm going to keep it a beat. That's what he says. And I said, Wack, listen, I'm involved now. I know both of y'all. Adin's not a scumbag. I know you don't know him that much, but he wants to pay you. Like, this is a bad look for him if he doesn't pay you. And I think Blueface, win or loss, he brought a lot of people and a lot of eyeballs there. He's like, man, I don't trust this guy. I said, all right, give me a second. Chat, this is exactly how it happened. I called Adin again. Adin, he's kind of okay with that because he said, Blue never claimed that Rainbet rigged the fights. So, if that's a correction, he's like, it's nothing to correct because he said Blue never claimed that. But I'm trying to explain to Wack, like, it's not even if he ever claimed it, he insinuated it. Just have him just put out a statement. That's all they want. I'm telling Adin, but I say, Adin, so if he does that, you'll pay me. So yes. I go talk to Wack. Wack's like, we don't trust this white boy now. I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm like, bro, how about this? Because, Adin, he's ready to go to his lawyers. Wack's ready to go to his lawyers. They're both kind of telling me like, if we don't fix this, we're legaling up. And I'm like, we're friends. No lawyers. Chill. I get both of them on the phone again. When I get both of them on the phone again, I work out what I think is the most immaculate deal. The most immaculate deal. By the way, keep in mind, I do not work for Brand Risk. I'm a friend to people, and I don't ever take commission. I'm not that guy. I work hard for what I have, but I'm never a leech, and I never try to piggyback or put myself in other people's business. If I'm friends with you and I'm friends with you, I'm going to be in there to either translate your conversation to him, try to make it easier, whatever. So I bring them back together. I get a good deal, or a deal that I thought it was good. So they're on the phone. They're just talking past each other. And I'm like, hold on, guys, hold on. I said, so Adin, you talked to Rainbet, right? You said all you need is this guy, right? You just need Blue to get on stream and just say, hey, listen, if I insinuated, I never really meant that Rainbet is rigging fights. That's all. He doesn't have to back off of the point that he thought that he won the fight. And by the way, Wack even told me I guess I'm putting out too much information, but at this point, everything's public. I try to make it not public. They told me they're appealing the fight. So they're like, we're appealing the fight anyway. So I'm like, all right, good. You should appeal the fight, right? Which, by the way, if that appeal goes through, Adin, you're going to have to send me my bread back. But it's all good. Here's the thing. So I said, all right, I kind of get what Adin's saying. But Wack is now distrustful. So the deal I worked out on the phone with them, because he says, Wack is like, yo, Ak, I know you, blah, 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 blah. He said, yo, listen, man, I'm doing business, clean business. I'm like, all right, Wack, okay, got you. And while talking to them, Wack is like, he doesn't trust him anymore. I said, why don't you trust Adin? He says, well, Ak, I have a contract with him. The contract says I should be paid in 24 hours after the fight. It's pushing 48. We're still stuck in Miami. I paid, I think he told me some wild number, $20,000 to fly out like 30 dudes out here. We all came from California. We're still here. We're paying for all type of hotel. We're down in the home. It would be nice if we got paid. And I completely get that, right? So he says, if Adin didn't respect the contract the first time and pay him after 24 hours, why would, if Blueface goes and does some apology or whatever, or put a statement out, why would he get paid then? And I said, oh my God. Now, I'm not trying to also, I'm not like, no, I'm a vouch for Adin. I'm like, this is y'all business. I'm really not involved, but like, I'm the media. So then the deal I worked out was this. I said, Adin, would you be open to drafting up something paperwork-wise, legally, that says if Blueface goes on stream and says this, you will release all the funds for his boxing match to Wack100 and his company, or Blueface and his company? And Adin says yes. I says, so you will do that? He says yes. I think this was one time we had hung up or whatever, because I called Adin. I was like, I bet, let's get back on the phone. All three of us are back on the phone again. I said, Wack, he's down to do this. He's down to sign paperwork, because Wack was telling me he don't believe him. He says everything he needs right now is paperwork. Got to be signature. Adin agrees with the paperwork. I'm like, all right, cool. All right, so y'all just do that. The conversation goes somewhere else again. It's like, well, yo, bro, like, so Adin to Wack is like, bro, I didn't tell this nigga. Blue never said that. Like, the things they're trying to say that he did, he never did. He called Adin. He said Adin is playing with the bets, not Rain Bet. And I'm like, yo, bro, can we just get past this and just like one thing he says? And by the way, I'm putting my friendship with Adin on the line, because if I negotiate this thing where if he signs that Blueface gets on stream and says something and Adin doesn't pay him this unknown amount of money, I'm going to look at Adin like, yo, Adin, like, you're a slime ball, bro. Like, you came to me. I try to help out. We get a deal. Anyway, Wack's not really into that deal. He's bringing up other stuff. I get even the better deal in the same call, which Adin also kind of like, he even frontlined it way more than me. Adin says, you know what? If you think I'm lying so much, not only will I sign a piece of paper, I'll even have Rainbet sign it. I'm going to send you half of what you're supposed to get from my own bank account. I'll send it. That's the guarantee that so once you sign the paper that he's going to get on stream and say whatever, and remember, you're just saying that you never meant that Rainbet is fixing fights. So Adin's going to pay him half of his personal money. And I'm like, this is a fucking great deal. Wack then says, we want a little bit more than half. He throws on like an extra, I won't say the amount, but I was like, all right, bet. I was like, fuck. But Adin's like, all right, I'll do that. So we have a deal. It feels like a LeBron trade, right? We have a deal, in principle. The deal is Adin's going to give half his money, half of the purse that Blueface was earned or owed to Blueface. He's going to sign this little deal thing to say, I am going to clarify that I never meant, even if I insinuated or said, that Rainbet fixed my fight. And then I'll get the other half after the stream. I get that deal. Wack says yes. I say, all right, cool. Adin, go hit your lawyer. Adin hits his lawyer. I think they have an offline conversation because I think Adin's lawyer sent him stuff and he sent it directly to Wack. Wack calls me back and says, we ain't doing this. All that for nothing. All that for nothing. Essentially, he tells Adin, if the statement that y'all prepared for me to say if I say that, that would, or if Blue says that, that would be killing his reputation. He would just have no more, people would look at him like he's done, like, fuck out of here. So he says he's not doing that. I said, Wack, yo, I'm trying to get y'all money. I have no horse in the race. And I'm going to be honest with you, from there, that's when that deal broke down, a bunch of trolling started. Adin starts trolling Wack. Wack is like, yo, listen, he kept clarifying, I'm not on some street stuff because I work legally, but let's avoid this. I try to call both of them again separately. I try to put them back on the phone again. Ultimately, it goes from Blue was willing to say certain stuff till whenever Adin's lawyer drafted up that they wanted key points or maybe a statement, they said Blue wasn't down to say that at all anymore. And now we're at a place where lawsuits are going to fly. So that's the story from front to back. And I guess with that being said, let me play Adin Ross speaking about Blueface. So, and by the way, I feel like I took so long to explain everything. You guys might have forgot, but let me play what Adin said.
That he didn't follow. There's actual contractual obligation.
Okay. Is there a longer clip? Okay, here we go.
Obligation that he didn't follow, so he breached. He was supposed to wear a rainbow patch on his shorts. He didn't. And he's going to have to pay $100,000 for that. He breached another confidential, like he can't speak about anything, money, how much he got paid or whatnot. And we asked him to retract his statements, and he didn't. We gave him some time. We didn't want to do it. Now we're going to do it. So, yeah, we tried. We tried working with him and Wack, and they weren't really fucking with it. And they didn't want to work with us, so sucks.
Now, I love Wack, and I'm not defending Adin because I also still feel like, shit, I wish Adin could have just, I just felt like the event was so much of a success. Like, if he could have, just bullied the scene that one time, just be like, yo, yeah, that nigga did say some dumbass shit, but just pay the nigga, man. You know what I mean? That's really my demeanor. But I do think that this is why so many deals in life get complicated when you have people not talking to each other. Because I said to myself, yo, Blue been streaming on Twitch. I'm not disrespecting Blue, but he been streaming on Twitch. He streamed 82 hours, and he showed he made like $20,000. Okay? I don't want to comment on how much he made in this fight, but he made marginally more. And what I'm saying, when I said to Adin, I said, Adin, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know if Wack is making this like more complicated, but I guarantee if like you got it, I don't have Blue's number. I'm like, I guarantee if you got on the phone with him and just told him like, yo, dog, bro, I'll send you the money right now. We just want you to clarify we ain't rigged the fight. That's it. I'm pretty sure Blue would have said yes. But then him talking to Wack is then sending like a bunch of clips to him. Yo, bro, you said this. Yo, bro, you know you don't want to go legal. Look at this. And then they walk away from something that was almost already solved. And now it's like the point where everybody talking lawyers. I think if he had if he could have pulled Blue to the side afterwards or just called up Blue, I think this is easily handled.
Yeah, we tried. We tried working with him and Wack, and they weren't really fucking with it. And they didn't want to work with us, so sucks. But yeah, we tried. I literally wanted to pay him multiple times. You could ask Ak. Every fighter got paid after brand risk. Every fighter. Everybody's paid except him. Why? Because you can't go around saying that shit's rigged, and you can't not wear a rainbow patch on your shorts when you contractually sign an obligation. And yeah, you can't talk about how much you're paying or being paid. So
now I'm trying to be fair here. Number one, I think Blue should get paid just because I see a man fight, I think he should get paid. Number two, respectfully, I don't think it's, I think it's a little bit petty to hold him responsible because he mentioned how much he, rumored he was going to get paid. And it was a clip where it was like, yeah, I'm getting paid over 300 or something like that. I don't think you don't pay a man for that, right? I think the only thing here is if the gambling company is paying and they feel like their business was basically called a scam, I see why they're trying to like hold out on it, but these other things I don't really care that much about. You know, maybe him as a CEO, he does care about the brand risk or rain bet patch. I don't think any of those things are really worth not paying Blue. I really don't. And I want to be very honest about it. If it's just not wearing a sponsor logo, well, y'all shouldn't have let him get in the ring. Granted, if it's contractual, he should have done it, but I don't think that's the reason why you shouldn't pay Blue, right? Revealing how much you get to pay to fight, brother, like, come on. Floyd talks about his shit. You're getting rappers in there. They're going to pop their shit claiming they got money. Come on now. So those two reasons, I don't really care about. The only thing I think they have a leg to stand on is, they just want him to clarify that it's not rigged. Whatever. I'm finished with what Adin says.
It sucks because he is probably one of the worst people to ever work with when it comes to business ever. And
now I believe he's talking about Wack, because I don't believe he did business with Blue. Actually, I know for a fact he didn't do business with Blue because I told him, and I hope y'all don't think this is like backdooring or whatever, but I gave him the story of, like, I remember sometimes the manager could make stuff, complicated. I remember when I did the interview with Tekashi when I first met him. This is how 6ix9ine became friends. His manager had me do 3 interviews with him. They were mad nitpicky, like, because, a manager has to be super protective, this and third. We figured out exactly what we're going to put out, and, like, that's when I realized this guy was the guy. 6ix9ine got my number, called me, and said, forget what my manager is saying. What do you think? You're the media guy. I watch you. What do you think? And I told him what I thought, and he's like, we're going with that. Fuck what my manager said. A lot of times you could get something solved by just talking to the person. If you have to talk to a lawyer, you have to talk to a manager, it gets complicated. And Adin never spoke to Blue, from my knowledge, on that level during contract negotiations or even afterwards. And that's why when he's saying the worst people to work with, I guess he must be talking about Wack. But in Wack's defense, I've never heard him say that about Wack before. So, be fair.
He is probably one of the worst people to ever work with when it comes to business ever. And, it sucks. Allegedly, in my opinion, of course. It really sucks. So, yeah. That's it. Well, Sway. Look at Gypsy Crusader, someone I legit hates me. So easy to work with. So easy and professional. And, very easy to work with, and it's like the exact opposite here, man.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So even he stood up for me. I have no say, and he knows this because he's fought before. I have no say on who wins and who loses. No say. And if people think I'm gonna fucking jeopardize a real business brand risk that actually could sell one day over a $10,000 friendly wager with Akademiks, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm making millions of dollars.
And I agree with him. I think Blue was hinting towards Adin betting with me. Me and Adin have had friendly wagers over Mad Shit. Like, we he's kind of a betting guy. I'm a betting guy. That's the wager with us. None of that had anything to do with Rain Bet. That was just like two homies. Now, I get it. Some people are saying, well, this guy owns brand risk. He shouldn't do that. I get what those people are saying, but me and him, we make friendly wagers. Okay? Anyway, Wack100 did respond. And let me get to his response.
Truth about Adin Ross.
Okay, so before we get to that, I think I have the full clip. Oh, wow. Oh, Nadeska did an interview?
Is it something?
Oh, my God. I'm so glad. Oh, shit. I got to watch that. Nadeska been waiting for that for so long. Let me see. Wack100. No, the show. Okay. So I'm going to just play what Wack says, and I think, we could move on afterwards.
And what's up, you?
Here we go.
And I'm not from that community. I'm a straight man. But yet, they could continue them. Paid Adam. Shout out to Adam. I'm glad Adam turned it over to them. I sat down with my client, with Blueface, and expressed to him, I know you want to say some things, but at this point in time, it's my Jewish community. And I have nothing against Jewish people. I don't even know why he brought this comment.
By the way, also, again, not sticking up for Adin, but Adin texted me on the side when he was you're gonna see some messages from Adin to Wack. Literally, he says, "Yo, I know Wack is recording me because that's one of the things. I don't know why Wack has this reputation, but the first time we got on the call, Adin calls me back and like, "Do you think Wack recorded me because the way he was talking?" And I was just like, "I don't know if he recorded you." I'm like, maybe he did. I'm like, Wack has recorded people before, seemingly. I think he recorded like an FBI agent calling him. So I don't know. I said, I don't know. So once it was clear they weren't going anywhere, Adin just started trolling them on text because he thought that Wack was just going to post it later.
If you say something towards them, openly gay and queer, whatever, I simply told everybody that's Adin's personal opinion.
Okay, here we go.
You guys tell me if you heard Blueface ever say rain bet or brand risk, and if all he did was isolate it to Adin as his opinion. And then I'll walk it down and I'll play some things that may have provoked Blueface to believe these things. So for this to be his opinion. Let's start off with the first clip.
All right.
To come out and say it. I have no idea.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you.
All right, come on now.
Because
on the last mess,
opinion.
I think she's horrible.
There you go.
You ain't gonna lose your own money on your own fight card. I definitely wouldn't score that in a unanimous decision. I give it 4-2.
If you do get back on Breris, do you want a rematch or who do you want to fight?
I probably won't get back on Breris because you tampering with the bets.
Never that. I don't know what he's talking about. Don't you in? Oh,
now let me show you what Blueface is talking about. Still not coming through, so you can just give me the original. That would really help me.
180,000? Yes.
Oh, here we go.
You know, Didi, when are we going to see another fighter from your community? I want to see.
It's like 180 right now.
Let's bet 180,000. I got Chibu. You got Blueface tonight. Because I know you got to go with Blue and I got to go with Chibu.
180.
So I guess he brings up that he wanted DDG to bet 180,000.
Let's bet 180,000. I got Chibu. You got Blueface tonight. Because I know you got to go with Blue and I got to go with Chibu.
180,000?
Yes. You know you got that new steak deal. You could do it.
Now, Adin said, let's bet 180,000. He putting it on Chibu. That's Blueface's opponent. Blueface, we ain't gonna talk about the 20 grand he bet Akademiks. We ain't gonna talk about that. Now, let's go back to Adam's fight. Let's see what we got going on here.
Chibu, no. He said no, right? No.
Adam, can you please tell the brother if he believe in you, then put something up?
I can't bet on my own promotions. I'll get arrested. You see what's happening to all these NBA players, NFL, MLB players, bro. I can't do that. I don't want to get that.
Y'all be having some good excuses, man.
I do, yeah.
Y'all.
Adin said in January on Adam's fight, he can't bet.
Chibu, no. He said no, right? No.
Adam, can you please tell the brother if he believe in you, then put something up?
I can't bet on my own promotions. I'll get arrested. You see what's happening to all these NBA players, NFL, MLB players, bro. I can't do that. I don't want to get that.
Y'all be having some good excuses, man.
I do, yeah.
Y'all.
He said he couldn't bet. What you mean? That's January. So in March, you're here?
Didi, when are we going to see another fighter from your community? I want to see.
It's like 180 right now.
Let's bet 180,000. I got Chibu. You got Blueface tonight. Because I know you got to go with Blue and I got to go with Chibu.
180,000?
Yes. You know you got that new steak deal. You could do it.
I thought he couldn't bet. See, this is why Blueface, his opinion was, bro, I thought I won 4-2. But you run around here placing bets with Akademiks. You trying to bet DDG 180,000. January, you said you can't bet on your fighters. That's what you... Hold on, let's go back to this shit.
Chibu, no. He said no, right? No.
Adam, can you please tell the brother if he believe in you, then put something up?
I can't bet on my own promotions. I'll get arrested. You see what's happening to all these NBA players, NFL, MLB players, bro. I can't do that. I don't want to get invested.
Y'all be having some good excuses, man.
I do, yeah.
Y'all.
Wait, let's go to the next one.
You know I don't be with.
DD, when are we going to see another fighter from your community? I want to see.
It's like 180 right now.
Let's bet 180,000. I got Chibu. You got Blueface tonight. Because I know you got to go with Blue and I got to go with Chibu.
180,000?
Yes. You know you got the.
Hey, listen, man. Check this out. We're going to call a spade a spade. January, third week of January, you couldn't bet. Rain bet, brand risk. A month later, not even 3 weeks later, March 14th, you ready to bet 180 grand with DDG. You bet 20 grand with AK. 1 minute you saying you can't. Did the rules change from January to March, or where you said you get in trouble if you place a bet and this, that? Did the rules change? Or was it that possibly maybe you had some, maybe possibly you had something going on. Now you wondering why Blueface is thinking you rigged the bet, you rigged the fight. So listen, all these things he's seen. Now, I don't know if you can show me some things on Dolce why you called her an industry plant, and that was your opinion.
Now, by the way, I also want to clarify. I think there's a very big difference between personal bets and Adin placing a bet on Rain Bet for his own fight, right?
I'm showing you, and I'm showing the people why this was Blueface's opinion. Now, never one time did he say brand risk. He said you, Adin. And I think you're a little butthurt, and you're trying to use the brand risk people to say, brand risk is not. No, it's you. We don't mind you not paying right now. We don't trip. It just pay us more money later. We ain't tripping. That's cool. My attorneys is on it, as you know. They've already back and forth it, and it is what it is, right? You know, it's a waiting game at that point. But hey, this is 2026, my guy. I don't know who told you that people are inferior or people are intimidated. No. You know, in our world where we come from, we dealt with at one point in time in our life these situations a little different, but we have evolved.
Okay.
The LeBrons are in the Wack100 guy, but
all right. So, you know, he doesn't give the full details. I figured I did. I'll show you what he posted, and he posted this. So this is after, you know, things are breaking down, and Adin just starts. Once Adin puts this picture, Adin just starts trolling. I ain't gonna lie. Not taking up for him, but so Wack says to Adin, "Bro, I'm owed monies. You think it's funny? It's not. I don't do bad business, but again, everyone has his day. I've been doing this a long time. I ain't them. I would never allow this to happen to anybody on my watch that I claim was a friend ever." And, you know, Adin at this point is trolling. He's like, please, I guess he was making like some advance. We could click on it to see what advance. He says, you and I should just kiss and make up. Okay, I think my message like right above it. I was like, yo, bro, can we all work this out? Then he just starts trolling him. He said, please. He says, my guy, I'm not gay. I don't fear no community because I have partners and friends amongst them all. Adin says, bro, you know I'm solid. Nobody's going to come to Compton and bless these communities. We got so much shit to do and save the world. Then Adin says, I'm gay. Then Adin says, are you rejecting me because I'm white and Jewish and gay? Wow, an anti-Semite, homophobe, disgusting. Wack. This is the funniest conversation. Well, not necessarily as funny, but they're talking way past each other. Adin's trolling, Wack is dead serious, right? And I'm not saying it's dope to be trolling, but you could tell both guys aren't having the same understanding. He said, no, I said I'm not gay. You keep saying we should kiss. I'm letting you know as a straight man I'm not gay and I don't kiss men. And he says, and what you don't know is I have many friends and business partners amongst the gay community. That tactic doesn't work with me. Try again. Says, please take that approach. I don't think you know me very well. I'm the street guy with a transgender reality show. Don't work, bro. Too many of my friends a part of that community are really my friends. Aiden says, hey, yo. He says, I mean, it's facts. Girls Club on Tronics. So I don't fear none of that. Fact that you try to tempt it shows you're worse than a street thug. Trying to use race and Jewish attacks, never from me. I have too many friends, too many Jewish friends and race friends and partners. You really try to go there, and for what? An intentional lie? Aiden says, bro, call your lawyer now, like right now. He says, now, calling nothing. He not calling nothing. He knows what he's doing. He says, your lawyer is a bit scared in my opinion, allegedly. I believe in my opinion, I have a strong position here. He says, okay, you keep thinking he's scared. You're new to this, not me. He says, well, what do you rate me on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm a nice Jewish white kid. He says, bro, Jewish, none of that has anything to do with the matter. You keep bringing that up. Have I mentioned being black? No. Why? Because it doesn't have anything to do with it. I'm not racist. I'm American, period. The rest don't matter to me. People are people. Aiden says, okay, but I'm Jewish. My people have been through so much. Now, I'm being honest with y'all. Aiden did hit me on the side. I stopped responding in the thread at this point because I'm like, what are they talking about? What Aiden hit me on the side right when this is happening to say, he says, I'm trolling. I'm trolling because you and I both know it's going to be on the internet. That's what he says. He says, I'm trolling because I know you and I know Wack's going to put this on the internet. So, that's what he told me on the side. All right. And Aiden says, and I'm gay, a Jewish gay guy. So much hate in this world. He said, that conversation has nothing to do with anything. He said, it just feels like I'm being targeted because I'm Jewish and gay. I just feel that way. So that's your choice. That has nothing to do with anything. It's like, it's not a choice, bro. I was born like this. I didn't ask. So to be truthful with you, being gay or being Jewish has never been the conversation. Never asked, never had an opinion about it. That's your choice as an American. That's your right. Okay, again, that's not my conversation. If you choose to voice it, I'll respect it. Okay, so why can't we meet up and have a hug and kiss to make up? Jason Lee will tell you Wack doesn't hold that against anyone. Work, friendship, whatever. That's not a determining factor for me. So you can stop mentioning it because it's not part of the problem. Okay, fine. I'll stop. So now the fact you keep disrespecting me if I told you I'm a straight man, it's crazy. I can respect you, but you can't respect me. On that note, I'll kill the text because I see the respect is a mutual. Aiden says, wow, you won't talk to me because I'm gay and Jewish, in my opinion? Disgusting. So you keep making sexual advances at me after I told you I'm a straight man. I've yet to disregard your stance as being gay. I haven't said anything wrong or disrespectful, but you keep saying let's kiss and make up after I've told you I'm a straight man. Please respect that. Okay, fine. I'll respect it. I'm so sorry. You're really just so handsome. It says, FYI, you're not dealing with Wack, the street guy. He's dead. This is Cash Jones talking to. The gaslighting won't work. That's cool. That's your opinion. Aiden, I've been doing this longer than you. It ain't going to work. You're really making yourself look crazy, not for no reason. Knowing Wack has done nothing but help you and be a friend to you. Aiden says, Wack, did you record our phone call the other day? That was the first call that I put them on. He says, because in Florida, where you were and where I was is very illegal, and I don't give consent. He said, I just spoke with Donald Trump, and he said he got my back. Okay. Wack says, bro, we were in a stream house. I didn't record nothing personally. So Aiden says, oh, so somebody else did. Even better. Wack says, you asked me if I recorded, and I answered you. Wack didn't record nothing. I told y'all not to record. Aiden says, you're so cute that you don't know how the law works. He says, what law? I didn't record. Again, you're spinning. Post Donald Trump. He says, can't wait to sit back and watch you and Adam talk. You're fishing and ain't nothing in the pond. Aiden says, please, Wack, can I join the pod? He says, do what you want to do. Again, press play. It's wide open. At this point, it's funny to me, blah, blah. I've done nothing to disrespect Blueface. Blueface just spoke his opinion. Like you spoke your opinion. For the record, when I spoke to you, I was in Florida. I just left 10:50 last night. I was not in California. Either way, I didn't record shit. Wack is slick. So laughing my ass off, bro, you're so rattled. This is hilarious. It's not rattled. That'd have to be you. You have no idea. Shaking my head, you'll find out. It says, come give it to me. I want to find out. I'm begging you. Okay. All right. So it ends there. Oh, shit, people. So that's kind of where it's at. I'm kind of good off this topic. I guess you guys kind of know the whole story at this point. Do you want me to call either one of them, or should we just move on? You want me to call either one of them, or should I move on?